I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Harmful entertainment. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. If you saw The Factor last night, you know that President Obama has launched a huge initiative to help children at risk, targeting young black men especially. Called My Brother's Keeper, it's a good initiative, as we discussed with the president's senior advisor, Valerie Jarrett. If you missed the interview, it is posted on BillO'Reilly.com. But what is missing is the entertainment factor. There is no question that dubious music and movies are affecting unsupervised children of all colors. The hip-hop industry makes billions putting out stuff like this.
What's 50 grand to a like me? Can you please remind me? Stop all that early morning cartoon. This is that goon. Your whole afternoon. I'm a wolf.
Robber, roll up the partition, please. I don't need you seeing Yonsei on her knees. Took 45 minutes to get all dressed up. We ain't even gonna make it to this club. Now my mascara running red, lipstick smudge. Oh, he's so yeah, he wants to He popped on my buttons and he ripped my blouse. He monocolor whiskey all on my gown.
Now, if you can't see that unsupervised children might be harmed by that kind of stuff, then you are not a responsible person, period. In order to help children at risk, American society has got to convince them to stop destructive behavior, like using drugs, committing violence, getting pregnant outside of marriage. I made that point to President Obama himself and to Ms. Jarrett last night. But after the president's announcement, it took only hours for the apologists and the enablers to show themselves.
The fact that this perpetuation of young black men, whether you're famous or not famous, is you're a thug or you're a gangster, because what? Because you listen to rap music? Rap music is the reflection of our society.
O'Reilly is uncomfortable with this culture. That's understandable. He did not come from this culture. That culture has some validities, if you will.
Sure, validities. The overall effect of base entertainment is a corruption of impressionable children. But you will never, ever get the far left and many in the entertainment industry to admit that. The uber left will not make judgments. The industry simply wants to make money. And I guarantee you I will be attacked for my stand on this issue because potentially I could disturb the money flow. Yesterday, I asked the First Lady, Michelle Obama, a well-respected woman in the black community, to discuss this issue with me. I hope she does. If Mrs. Obama would put energy to trying to persuade children at risk not to succumb to the corrupting culture, that would be enormous. The My Brother's Keeper initiative is a very positive thing for this country. But unless it is coupled with a change in the entertainment culture, it will not reach nearly as many children as it should. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. Reaction. Joining us from Washington, Juan Williams, author of the book, Enough, The Phony Leaders, Dead-End Movements, and Culture of Failure That Are Undermining Black America and What We Can Do About It. And here in the studio, Kevin Powell, president of BK Nation, BK standing for Building Knowledge. So where am I going wrong here, Mr. Powell?
Well, I think the issue is not that you're going wrong, because I myself, who's been in this hip-hop culture for 30-plus years, have said some of the same things that you're saying, Mr. O'Reilly. The issue is that we're focusing on rappers, and my question is, why aren't we also talking to the people who actually run these labels? A representative of BK Nation was at the White House initiative yesterday, and the fact is, none of the folks who are CEOs of the major labels that put out the music on a regular basis were there. And so the accountability is very easy to attack the rappers, but who are the people who are signing the checks, who are putting the stuff out
that's
there?
Right. But the kids don't know those people.
But we do.
And believe me, we have mentioned them in the past. We had a ludicrous controversy years back with Pepsi. That was resolved in our favor, but it was only temporary. But when you have somebody like Beyonce, very, very adored by particularly young women, and just putting out what you just saw, for adults, as I say, I don't care. I mean, you're an adult, you want this, that's fine with me. I have no problem. But 12 and 13-year-olds, Juan, seeing and just this barrage of this stuff day in and day out, what do you say?
It's corrupt. I mean, this is the culture of failure. It is dogging black America, and I think you're right to call it out. But you know what happens is the critics, as you say, come out and they say, oh, if you say that, you're not really black, you're not authentic. or you're acting white, or you're getting in the way of people who are making crazy bank, the rappers. But the fact is, the rappers are the sellouts, Bill. The rappers, you think about it, the Snoop Dogg's, the 50 Cents, these guys are making pornography with black women, talking about black women as hoes and dogs and bitches. This is horrible, horrible. Especially when you think about a young person coming from a broken family, bad schools, all the environmental barriers to their success, and then they have this set up for them as, oh, take pride. Here are your role models. These are authentic, real black people. They monitor and imitate criminals. That's why they got all the tattoos and the pants hanging off and the do-rags. Oh, and guess what? Yes, you're not a real black man. You haven't gone through that rite of passage of going to jail, so you got to do that. That'll make you really black. Not go to school, learn, excel in school, get a job, achieve, build a family. Rap is all about me, me, me. I'm tough. I'm a bad man, O'Reilly. I got attitude.
How do you reply to that, Kevin?
But nothing about building a family.
Well, the problem with people like Mr. Williams is that not only does he not know anything about hip-hop culture and its history.
Oh, stop.
Actually, you don't, because I've never seen you involved in anything to do with hip-hop.
Let me tell you.
Wait, hold on. Let him talk.
Let me finish. First of all, the same thing that you're saying now in 2014, Mr. Williams, was actually said about hip-hop when there was actually balance in the music and culture in the late 80s, early 1990s. We saw a diversity of voices. The same people were attacking hip-hop. The problem is that even if you took hip-hop out of the equation, poor schools, lack of economic opportunities would still be a reality. I spent this morning, I started my day in Brownsville, Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, which is one of the poorest communities in America. These kids are basically dealing with systemic problems that have been there for a long time. I come from a single mother-led household.
But this initiative is designed to at least bring relief to those problems. But you're skirting the issue here, Mr. Powell. Wait. The president himself yesterday said there was a culture of cynicism in these precincts, that the young men who get into trouble, generally speaking, and I think this applies to girls too, they don't want any part of the straight American dream. They don't want any part of society.
Actually, that's not even true, because
that's what the president said.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, even if you listen to hip-hop in its totality from the very beginning to the present, it actually is as American as apple pie. They're talking about the very same things that we see everywhere else in America.
But they're talking about it in a way that alienates the system. You can't get a job if you walk in to IBM and use that kind of a presentation.
But what
can't.
But what I'm saying to you, sir, with all due respect, first of all, we who are having this conversation, we need to distinguish between hip-hop culture and the industry that you referenced at the top of the show. We agree about the problems with the industry. It's the CEOs who put out this music.
I'm putting the rap where Juan is putting the rap. I'm putting the rap on Beyonce, Jay-Z, and all these people. Go ahead.
Why are you excusing the rappers, the black people? Basically, they used to do minstrel shows with white people in blackface.
They
have black people standing up and doing a minstrel show. The big market for this is white people. It's a white male teen fantasy. They get to use the N-word. They get to have all the sexual references and nasty words, the misogyny,
Mr. Williams, with
the
all due
violence.
respect, I'm in the community.
Let me finish.
Let him finish. I'll give you the last word.
Let me just tell you, I grew up in Brooklyn, right? So I come from Crown Heights and Best. I grew up in that situation. And I got to tell you, when you are saying to young people, you can't succeed in the system, which is what the president and Bill O'Reilly just said, that is corrupt. That is corrosive to the way of thinking. And you want to excuse the rappers, don't. And don't excuse civil rights leaders who never, ever say one word about this.
Well, first of all, sir, I'm not a civil rights leader. Let's make that clear. The civil rights movement is dead and has been dead for a long time. I'm actually an activist in the community today. And if you don't understand where I'm coming from, I'd like you to bring you to Brooklyn today. The Brooklyn you grew up in a long time ago doesn't exist today. The reality is that we have to have structures in place that are going to give these children an opportunity to put all this emphasis on the rappers. I've been critical of it. We just had a Change.org petition around Nicki Minaj just 2 weeks ago. Do your homework, Mr. Williams, and actually look at what we do in the community, number one. Number two, I challenge you and anyone who's critical of so-called rappers to actually come into the community and give our kids an alternative. It's easy to sit behind a computer and type blogs all day.
I'll give you an alternative.
But
Motown.
let's actually read in the community. That's what I'm talking about.
There's your alternative, Motown. That was a culture that was entertaining, that was uplifting.
And that's what we're about with BK Nation, sir.
You don't have it now.
Yes,
you don't have it now.
But it's coming back.
Now we just showed you the big three, okay? And they're all
the big three record labels that put out the big three
entertainers.
But the big three record
people
labels that put it
that
out
are
there.
idolized.
We
But again,
we need to come after the record labels.
Let me just tell you, Kevin, you should check out Black History, about the history of black people in families.
I actually know
love
it.
education,
I gotta go,
growing
guys.
this community, not destroying it for their own personal profit.
I got to go.
I actually know it very well.
We're going to continue to try to get the First Lady involved with this because she could, I think, turn the tide.